guys, welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. Today we are going to be talking about Wells Township Haunted House.
In Brilliant, Ohio.
Yes.
It's close to Steubenville. No one knows where Brilliant is, but it's close to Steubenville, and a lot of people know where
It's literally
that's
like this big.
it's that, yeah.
But first, we want to talk to you about some stuff we got going on. We do have a new GoFundMe starting up. If you're not familiar with it already, we did a documentary a few years ago called Haunt Behind the Scares, where we featured some haunted houses in the area, and we showed pretty much, what goes into making a haunted house. And it was a very, passionate project to us.
Yeah.
And we would like to make a sequel.
Yeah. Essentially just covering more, because we only cover haunted houses, hay rides, trails, all that kind of thing. And we have a video where we talk about, why we need the money and all the stuff we're going to be covering. It's kind of in detail, not super long, but there'll also be a link down in the description to that and the GoFundMe. Check both out. Decide if you want to donate. If you can, that'd be awesome. We want to get DVDs and stuff. If you haven't watched the other documentary yet, make sure to do that as well. But, besides that, that's enough of us talking about that. Let's go ahead and get into the review.
All right. Wells Township Haunted House in Brilliant, Ohio. This is one of our favorites. We go to it pretty much every year.
Yeah, it's become a seasonal thing for us.
Yeah.
A tradition.
It's not like your typical haunted house. It is a guided tour.
Yes, which is the only one I've ever been to that's really like this.
Yes, you get a tour guide, and he or she takes you through the haunted house and shows you all the many rooms inside the house. And each room is more like being told a story.
Mm-hmm. With some kind of payoff, essentially.
Yeah, so you get your little story, you get your scare, and then you're shuffled into the next room. Pretty much, they change it every year.
Yeah, they tear down almost to every scene in the place and just rebuild it, which is respectable in its own right.
Right. So on to our review. We're going to start off with design, which includes sets and props. We gave the haunt an 8.
Yes. Like I said, this is a very different haunted house than, if you've never been there, you've probably never been to one like it. With the tour guide system, it really allows them to be much more theatric with what they're doing.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of different type of scenes unfold. One of the first things is, and I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but it's essentially a suite of escape room. If you've ever been to an escape room, it's kind of like a mini escape room is what starts haunted house off with. Where they tell you to find some keys in different places, and there may or may not be zombies that attack you. Also note, very interactive haunted house. They touch you a lot. So that is a thing. If that bothers you, get over it. But I mean, whatever. But with them changing everything up every year, it's always fresh and new, and we really never know what to expect from it. Mm-hmm. Some key scenes this year, like I mentioned, the escape room. There's a room where there are slanted floors that pushed you into moving saw blades out of the wall. That's fun.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, and that's just a transition in between scenes, actually, so that's better yet.
Another scene that was really interesting was a nursery.
Mm-hmm.
With a woman and her child, and the child had just gotten to sleep. Overall, it was very effective. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was a very effective story inside that room.
Oh yeah, it was. You guys pretty good. There's a really cool ritual scene where someone, they make you chant with them, and then, when the lights go out, the room may or may not be what it was before the lights went out. Mm-hmm. So that was really unique, and that surprised me. That's not what I thought was going to happen at all. What does end up happening, and we're going to try and keep it, so we want you to check this place out, so we're going to try and keep it spoiler-free, but it was pretty intriguing. An alien scene, which you don't see that a lot.
Yeah. A lot of places kind of steer away from doing movie or TV scenes. I know lately, some people have done kind of inspired by kind of stuff. Well, this was inspired by the Alien franchise.
Right. It wasn't exactly the xenomorph or whatever you see, but it's definitely like very similar art style and stuff. It was very much inspired by it, and I like that. I like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. And the place is known for having like really outlandish and like really spectacular endings, and this year is no different. There's includes getting to ride through like a house while a werewolf chases you. I mean, ride. I mean, you're sitting in like, I mean, they make all this stuff, which makes it even more impressive. They don't go to the big convention and just buy it. Like, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this shit, and like they really just work for it. I mean, it's basically I'm trying to think of, it's kind of like almost like one of those like, it's like a simulator, I guess is what it is. You sit in.
Yeah, it's a simulator with a screen, and you're put into this scene, and it moves around and stuff. You know, just kind of like those simulated roller coaster kind of things you see in theme parks and stuff.
It's kind of like that, but again, they build it themselves and they change it up. It also can like move forward and back as well as the rocking and stuff. And then of course there's a surprise that happens at the end. And then there's a completely different ending this year that has to do with the judge, and you get to be judged, and he decides if you're guilty or not. And it's and that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, that was very cool too.
The only real problem that we had with like the design, the sets, you know, that kind of all that, is there are some weird timing issues with some of this stuff, and then like maybe a few of the scenes were maybe a little bit too similar. Yeah. Like kind of like similar things happen. I mean, it was all pretty good and done fairly well and effective, but some of the stuff was like, oh, I kind of saw that in this room, and like lights turning off and then coming back on, things are in different places. You know, you see that a couple times. But overall, really good. And we moved to actors, which we gave a 9.5 to. If you've never been to Wells Township, it's one of their key selling points is their actors. They're so good. And again, this is a guided tour haunted house. And the tour guides are all just amazing. And it also gives revisiting the haunted house fine, because if you have a different tour guide, they interact with the scenes you're in differently. They interact with you differently. Some are more friendlies in like a weird, creepy way, of course. Some are more gruff and just kind of like, they kind of seem like they don't really want to be around you. And it's just so cool, that dynamic. And no other place offers something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the tour guide actors, but then there's all the other actors in the haunt as well, you know, and again, this is more theatrical, and I think they did a really good job as well.
Yeah, there was definitely some real passion coming from them.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, you know, like, a lot of them had, like, pretty long lines of dialogue that I didn't really notice any of them messing up on or anything.
No, they hit their marks pretty good.
Which, I mean, we experienced years before, people you can tell, they're like, oh crap, I forgot my dog. Like, we didn't really run into that at all this year.
No.
And a lot of the people in the haunt, a lot of them are younger. You know, some of them are children and stuff, and they did a really good job as well. I mean, there's a couple things, like there's a Michael Myers scene, and that scene was fine, but like there wasn't much of a payoff. And Michael Myers just kind of like throws her on a couch, and then he stood there and just looked at us. Yeah, but he was kind of short, and we were like, okay, and then we just moved to the next room. So like that was probably like the only time where I was like, I mean, it wasn't like bad acting, but there really wasn't anything eventful that happened after that.
It was anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was anticlimactic, and he just kind of stood there and be like, hi guys. I'm like, okay, hi. But I mean, outside of that though, I mean, like, they're just so good. The actors are just so good, and they're so interactive. They really just, they love messing with you. They just love it, and I love that they love it.
So the next one we're going to do is Scare Factor. We gave them a 7.5. Now, if you've been to this haunt, again, it's kind of like that build up, and sometimes you might get scared, sometimes it's just kind of to creep you out.
Right.
So it's kind of a mix of it. Like, not all the time you're going to get like really scared.
And again, as I've said before though, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, it seems like a lower score, but the haunted house has a lot more going for it. It's not necessarily always going for just the boo jump scare that so many are. So is it super scary? Well, it depends, I guess, on who you are. For us, you know, like, we go to a lot of places that touch and stuff, and yes, they touch. Some people that will freak out. For them, it might be like a 10. But for us, you know, like, that's not super freaky to us, and like, you do have some ankle grabbing, and that creeps me out. And I mean, it is it still is scary. I mean, 7.5 still means that it's pretty scary, you know, on scare factor scale. But again, like, you don't go there and just be thinking that it's all about the scare. It's more about experiencing the scene and being immersed in the atmosphere, which this place does. Better than most places I've been to. It's very special. Wells Township is very special. Next, we'll move on to value, which we'll give a 10 to. The place is only $15. You're in there for like about 30 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes.
I mean, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. And the best thing about this place, well, maybe not the best thing, but one of the best things about this place is there's no queue line. I mean, you wait in line to get a ticket, and your ticket's just a number. And you get to watch bands play, you get to go, there's a scare booth, you can go put like coins in a slot basically and pay, it's a pay to scare people thing, you know, and so like you watch them, you can make air cannon stuff go off and you watch them on a monitor. There's a projection screen with stuff, there's vendors outside, there's just so much you can do and you're not confined to a line. As soon as you get to that ticket booth, you just roam around till they call your number. And I love that. I love that so much. Yes. I wish more places would do that. Waiting in line's horrible, and Wells Township's like, you don't have to do that, and that's great. And $15 is just like a steal for this place. Like, you're getting so much bang for your buck. Because even when you're outside, too, there's lots of, like, line actors, and they would mess with you.
Yes, yeah.
It's really good. And then for an additional fee, they also have a zombie escape challenge, which we're not giving this number, but we'll talk about it, because we did experience it. We went through it. Again, it's additional fee. It's just an extra thing. You don't have to go through it. And I thought it was quite a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like flag football. You put flags around, you go through like a maze kind of thing, and try to not let the zombies steal your flag. You'll probably lose. One person in our group, I had 2 still left though.
Yeah, I was really surprised she had like her 2 flags left. Like, they got mine immediately, and like they do grab you. I mean, this is a full contact.
Yeah. We've said it before. We'll say it again. They get
I felt like I was being frisked at one point.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted those flags.
And there's a lot of them in there. There's a lot of actors throughout the whole place, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot of people there. Just, yeah. And customer service in this place is great, too. Everyone's just awesome there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, the guy who runs it, Sean Norman, he's always been very accommodating. We know him. He's worked in the documentary and stuff. And, like, his entire staff there, you know, we know them all personally. And even before we didn't know them personally, just, you know, meeting them at the haunt, like, there's a group of great people, and they do it for a pretty good cause, you know. And it's just... It's all fun and awesome.
So overall, we gave Wells Township a 8. There's room for improvement, definitely.
And the thing with them changing everything up year to year, some years we like better than others. Some people might like this year better. Like, we like this year, but like for me, there's a lot of scenes last year I think that I liked a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, it's not really a bad thing. It was just kind of like, it fluctuates from year to year because, again, they're changing things up. So you're not seeing the same show, which is, you know, impressive in its own right.
So overall, we think that you should definitely check out Wells Township.
Yeah, they said it's unique. The experience is unlike any other haunted house. So, you know, no matter where you live, make sure you make the drive to go there. And there's some other cool haunts in the area, which we have those reviewed as well. So make sure you watch those. As far as your review for this goes, I think that's pretty much it. So again, as we said at the beginning of the video, you know, make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe us on YouTube if you haven't, because there's more reviews coming and a lot more content and videos. Make sure you watch our documentary that's free to watch on YouTube, and consider donating for us to be able to make a second one for your viewing pleasure. And again, there's a video that describes all the things that we're going to be putting into it, and you know, if you donate a certain amount of money, if you donate $10, you'll be able to watch it for free. If you donate $25 or more, we'll make sure to send you a DVD for free, as long as we meet our goal. And again, it's all in the video.
And the music at the beginning of the show and at the end is all done by Jerry Vayne. He's known as the Haunt Rocker. His music is awesome. And thank you very much for letting us use it. He's not your typical haunted house music. It's actually pretty badass. Mm-hmm. So definitely check it out.
Yep, and there's links in the description for that below as well to check out his website and consider purchasing his music. He just had a new album come out, so check that one out as well. But I think that's it for this episode. Thank you guys very much for watching.
Bye.